Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi is the fourth entry in Atari's series of fighters based on the Dragon Ball Z anime. Tenkaichi is part of the Atari line of Dragon Ball Z games that have slowly rebuilt the franchise's reputation among video gamers. Tenkaichi is actually the fourth game in a series of fighters that Atari has been putting out since 2002 that have slowly brought fans back to the franchise, which has had kind of a rough time in games. Atari's taking a few chances with this latest entry in the series. One of the most significant is they've switched development of the game from Japanese developer Dimps to developer Spike. This is pretty significant because Dimps actually started the fighting franchise in 2002. It was their kind of model that the games that have followed have pretty much stuck pretty close to. Tenkaichi sticks pretty close to the model laid down by Dimps, but actually makes some additions that should please fans. The Z Battle mode is probably the most significant addition to the package, mostly because it does away with the typical story mode that we've seen in the previous games and instead just throws you into a series of battles that are all set during the different sagas that have taken place over the course of the Dragon Ball Z series. So basically what this means is the very story-heavy elements that we saw in the previous games are pretty much stripped down to the basics. You're just going to be brought up to speed on which saga you're in and what's going on, and then you're just going to fight. The other significant change is going to be in the combat system. Spike has stuck pretty closely to the model that Dimps lay out in the previous games. However, what you're going to find is it feels a little different, partially because timing's a little different and some of the moves have been changed. You'll be performing a lot of your supers now much more seamlessly, and they're integrated a lot better into the fighting, so matches don't really bog down when somebody fires off a super. At the same time, the new camera angle puts your view right behind your fighter pretty much, which makes for a different handling and it makes for a different feel for the battles because you need to kind of rethink how you're going to approach fights. So these changes give the game a very different feel from the Dimps produced games. We have to say that there is still some charm there, there is definitely still that Dragon Ball appeal. There's a lot of content to enjoy, there's a ton of unlockable characters, there's all sorts of different fights, and the capsule system that we've seen in the previous entries in the series is back, so you'll be able to customize your fighter and collect capsules as you progress through different modes in the game. The capsules will again offer kind of performance upgrades for your fighter and even unlock new content, such as fighters and arenas in the actual game. So there's actually plenty to do in the game and a lot of content to actually unlock. Now we'll let you know how it all came out in our review, which you can look for in the next couple weeks because Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi is set to ship next month.